Good God, no auto-tune to be heard here, folks. That's just Timo Colzipelto singing his fucking ass off, is what that is. You're listening to a band in their prime. Isn't that awesome? It's one of the coolest things about being able to listen to a band that that's maybe arguably past their prime, I guess. I'm gonna say that Stradivarius is past their prime. Not to say that they are bad by any means now. You're listening to a band in their prime when you go to listen to the Elements albums, Elements Part 1 and 2. This is a master class. That's the thing. This is not just a band that's putting out a really good power metal album. This is a band putting on an absolute master fucking class of how to play power metal the right way. Like, it is absolutely unbelievable if you go and listen to the Stradivarius Elements Part 1 and 2. Like, the things that these guys are doing is just bananas. I kind of feel like listening to it right now, to be honest, but we're going to just keep going with Soilwork, actually. That's pretty rad. And we're hanging out today. Oh, geez. That's not what I meant to do. We're hanging out today with Amp Room. And there's probably going to be a slower stream. Who knows? It's Saturday, a little bit later than I normally stream. As I like to say, I had a nap that got away from me. Because, man, naps are awesome. If you don't nap once in a while in the afternoon, how's it going, Don Guitarra? If you don't nap once in a while in the afternoon, I believe you are shorting your life. You are shorting yourself of some maximum relaxation, especially if you've had a little bit of the green stuff. Makes it just such a nice nap. We're gonna hang out today with Amp Room. If you've never used Amp Room, and if you've ever seen the movie Hot Fuzz, you'll know why I say it. Room. If you haven't seen that movie, it's going to get a little annoying, maybe a little bit, but it's such a great movie. You haven't seen Hot Fuzz. We should watch Hot Fuzz. Man, you got to watch Hot Fuzz once in a while. It's a great movie. So Softube makes Amp Room, and Amp Room has its own stuff, but if you buy any of the Amp Sim stuff, any of the, guitar-based stuff from Softube, you get it will appear in here. There's a few companies out there that have suites like this, where when you buy a standalone product, it ends up you're able to use it in their platform style, like mega suite sort of thing. Kuwasa is another company like that. Kuwasa, where but that one's free. Amp Room is not free, but then again, Kuwasa Amplification 360 does not involve any gear. The real Chacho. There are many Toms in the world, and many GIFs as well. But I am Chacho. If you haven't seen Orgasmo, I still to this day say it was one of the funniest things the South Park guys ever did. So I'm just hanging out today with Amp Room. And this does come along with Amp Room, by the way. You buy Metal Amp Room, and you get Vildsint here. Vildsint is, in my opinion, one of the greatest high gain amp sims ever created, and it's a hidden gem though, because for some reason I just never hear about it. I never hear about this. I don't know. I just never see videos. I never see content with this. I just don't see it, and I would love to see more. I would love to see more. And this is a wonderful. It means Vildsint means fierce in Swedish, and Softube is a Swedish company, Swedish based, anyways. And great people. Thank you so much to Stefan Aronson and the rest of the wonderful people over at Softube for the support all these years. Always been great. It's always been really nice. And so this is their current sort of product that you want to know about. And I don't think enough people know about this bad motherfucker, because this thing is unique as hell. This is a really unique amp. This is not based on hardware as far as I understand it, which this is a Franken amp, straight up Franken amp. Straight up Franken amp. And this thing's awesome. So right now we're on the high gain calm. You notice this little matrix here. Let's go to the screen. You'll notice that there's this little tone matrix here. This thing is cool. Really cool, guys. If we want that tight gated sound, we can have it. We don't need to have it, but we can. We'll have a little bit of it. So you've got 3 stages: calm, fierce, and rage. And then you've got 3 different channels: clean, high gain, and insane gain. So right now, we're going to go just like clean and calm. Sounds like this. And there are some pedals as well. I just have what do they call it? They call it the integrated preamp, actually, which is cool. This is the old school, the unit that was used by so many thrash and metal guitar players in before boosting was a thing and became a thing with tube screamers in roughly the metalcore kind of era. I mean, tube screamers have always been a thing, but the traditional high gain boosting modern amps thing, that became a thing a little while later. So we don't have much going on. There's a little bit of EQ here that was kind of part of this part of this preset, and I was not expecting that. And they also did there was somebody in the last stream that said that UI or that product is just too hard on my stuff. It's very sluggish. And I'll agree that there have been multiple setbacks and kind of bugs with this plugin over the years. It's existed for a little bit. If you're an AmpSim user from way back, you'll remember when all of these rooms were their own plugin kind of thing, and they were okay, but that was where it kind of ended. They were okay. In this case, this is much better than okay. Of Abstract, I have some mean presets from Gale. Nice. Oh, was it? I had no idea about that. It was endorsed and created in partnership with Gale. Call it told me Vidyarta. I never pronounced that band name right. I had no idea. See, that's the thing. I didn't know that about this amp. It doesn't anymore. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is there was a recent update that I noticed today. When I went to go use it, I was like, better make sure it's updated. And I was actually intending on starting the stream ages ago, but I had to update it and a bunch of other stuff. And man, it took a bit. So then now we're here and we're flying. So this is essentially the first heavier channel. And that's just the amp. That's not even boosted, brother. It does not really need to be boosted, this amp, but it can be, and it still sounds rad when you do it. It's still super tight, but we're gonna go here anyway, and we're gonna throw a screamer. There's also this kind of a neat boost that we can throw in here. Why can't I throw that in? It usually lets me use more than one pedal. All right. I couldn't drag it for some reason. This thing is cool, and where's just my plain ass? Oh, this thing is cool. I want you. You can go here. Cool. Let's use a little bit of the 33. A little bit of the 33. See, now we're running into that too boosted kind of feel and that too boosted kind of sound, and there is such a thing. when you're using like an amp that's crazy tight and you go to throw in something like the Fortin 33, that's just going to be too much. So in this case, I am just going to, where is my just plain old screamer? All right, let's just use a plain old screamer. It's not a bad screamer. That sounds good, but so does this. Well, that sounds really good, actually. That old integrated preamp from TC Electronics is quickly becoming one of my new favorites to use out in front of just about everything. All right, going to go to Fierce High Gain. And that is just too bright for me, so we're going to go back to the Screamer. I mean, yes, I have the treble control up, and the presence could go back a little bit. Oh, it's filthy, though. And that's super modern sounding, and he might almost sound overly tinny to you, but believe it or not, there are a lot of bands that use tones that are real close to what I'm using right now. Way more of a scoop sound to this Fierce, the Fierce section. Rage now. I'd love to read more about or ask more about the inner workings of this amp. Like what exactly is changing in this tone matrix? Mills Rollback. Nice to see you. I changed my mind, actually. I remember the last time you were on the stream, I said I had seen pictures of what your bass was looking like, and I don't think it was actually yours I was looking at. There was a different bass that he was doing. It was a different bass entirely, I think. But still, and it was a nice bass nonetheless. Mindsinger, thank you so much, by the way, Nils. Nils ordered a Mindsinger bass. And I'm not using the Mindsinger today. I was using it yesterday. I want to give the other guitars in my collection a little bit of love too, right, guys? And believe me, this guitar needs love. This guitar definitely needs love. And so that sounds a bit better to me. It sounds a bit better to me. Hold on. Clean, Fierce. That sounds workable too, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Man, it's like some pretty nifty sounds out of this thing. I haven't really given it. I honestly haven't really given the clean section as much of a go as I would have liked. And the clean section sounds pretty fucking rad, actually. It's snappy. You know what I mean? It's like an in-your-face clean, but it's really good. Tyler, have you seen that ML SoundLab just put out a Soldano? I did. And if I had thought about it ahead of time, I would have had it for the stream here, actually. I will ask Kai. And I'm excited about it because apparently they're doing something a bit different. I don't know if they're working with is Nam involved? Eddie and Bo? Was that something that is legitimate? Yeah. Or is he just working with Steve Ack? I don't know. I know I don't do it right. I still have yet to learn where do you go, where do you guys do that? I don't know the shape you guys use after that. In any event, you get it. This tone is pretty rad. What does it sound like? Clean rage. The amp always has that nice snappy McSnapper to it. Snappy. I don't really want this compressor on here though. Let's get rid of you. Get rid of it. That was probably part of what was happening there. Now that we've remedied that, we have to kind of up this a little bit. I didn't mind that snappiness to it, but I don't really like it either though. I thought yours was going to be a bass. I thought Daryl told me that yours was going to be a bass. The 7-string Jaguar sounds fucking cool as hell. Is it going to be Daryl's own take on a Jaguar? That'd be really cool if it was like Daryl's own take at Mindsinger on a Telecaster was the Tempest. And it's got that big old beefy horn on it. And I like it. I really, really like it. I'm definitely going to get another Mindsinger someday. Don't know when exactly. I had planned for fall, but I don't know if it'll work out that way. We'll see. All right, guys. So, man, I'm stoked to be here with you guys today. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the Amp Sim Show. We're hanging out with Amp Room exactly as it said. I haven't even gotten off the first amp yet, but we are not going to be here for all day just doing chugs. We're going to be after maybe some doomy stuff, maybe just some dad rock, and you go through the Marshalls. Let's see what happens, all right? That was why it was pretty shrill, is because I forgot there was that compressor baked right into the preset. Well, not baked in, but there's the component there. So we'll see what's what. Oh, that sounds just tasty. Holy it's so tight, it's insane. This is one of the most compressed fucking amps I've ever used in my whole life, though, to be honest with you. So if you're on the calm, a high gain or insane gain or clean, firing up a boost pedal, no problem. Take your pick. That sounds great. Sounds great. Sounds great. But it's definitely not too bright to use either the Fortin Fortin 33 or the old TC Electronics preamp. However, if you ever wonder why these two units sound very similar, why the Fortin Grind and the Fortin 33 do sound similar to the old TC Electronics preamps, is because that's what they are underneath. They are essentially TC Electronics preamps with the knobs ripped off and just having one knob that for essentially one thing, which I'm assuming in this case would be volume. I really don't know what the one single knob would do. I'm not an electronic scientist. But yeah, in any event, the Grind and the 33 are essentially just modified TC Electronics preamps and with one control. You know what's funny of Abstract? I found the same exact experience with the Vildsynth. On my own, playing by myself, it sounds fucking awesome. But in a mix, it did disappear a little bit. And I figured out a way to utilize it to my liking. Was using the Vildsynth, on 2 tracks, and then something else on the other 2 tracks. Be it, I think I tested it with the rectifier on here on the other 2 tracks. I also used one of the Marshalls on the other 2 tracks, boosted, and I got a really nice tone by using like 60-40 in favor of the Marshall, and that actually seemed to work out pretty good. But on its own in a mix, yes, it was very. It's just such a mid-focused machine that it was a little bit less, not less impressive, but yeah, maybe less impressive in a mix. Maybe that is the right way to say it. But exactly what I thought as well. It was a bit different in a mix. But man, boy, oh boy, we're sitting here right now, and goddamn, like. The mids in this amp are just like, it's just a mountain. When you're on Fierce, man, like the mids are just, they take hold. I think I could have made it work on 4 tracks of a quad track kind of thing if I was using the like high gain calm with like a tube screamer instead of like the, using the integrated preamp or the 33. Having something that's a little bit more like flatter, the beefy, but like still flat and not really overly remarkable in any one way, like on the upper end, the top end, or the low end. It's just sort of flat and solid, and then use the Vildsynth on 2 other tracks on like say Fierce, where it's definitely got that bite, right? How's it going, Kyle? Nice to see you. That's fire. Like, I agree, Bo. Like it is a bit of it's a bit of an interesting bird. I've always really liked the 33, disliked the Grind myself, but I know people that feel the exact opposite, and that's what you get when you get one knob pedals. Though one fucking knob isn't enough to impress the entire universe, right? It's not going to. It's just too limited for everybody to enjoy. So we've got a couple different cabinets. Well, no, actually the same cabinet twice. I'm going to throw We've got access to a lot of different stuff here. What's the mug? Oh, that definitely changed things up a bit, didn't it? I could have sworn there was a Marshall MF cab in here. I could have sworn there was. I guess I could be incorrect, but I could have sworn there was a Marshall MF in this collection. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to go slow this time. No, I don't see it. Interesting. I don't know what the mug cabinet is either, but it sounded pretty good. The one thing I don't like about this section is I don't actually see any names for the mics. Now, for anybody that's seen a lot of these mics before, you're fine. But for somebody who has not, it's going to be a bit of a different bird. And I don't see any way to do that. Like I know some of my mics, even me. Like I know some of my microphones to look at them, but I don't know all of them to look at them, right? So for me, I'm just like, well, you know. All right. Yeah, this is the ultra metal, ultra modern machine. It can do more than metal, though, as we prove the clean tones are serviceable. Nice. Not shite. That's unfair. It does something I don't like personally. I get it. I totally get it. I find the grind to be the same way, actually. The Fortin grind, I dislike it at all times except with an EMG 81. I don't know why, but the Fortin 33 and the grind pedal sound wonderful with an EMG 81. They sound so good with the EMG 81 through just about everything. It sounds really good. Totally agree, though, that the 33 can be a bit of an interesting bird, and that the TC Electronics integrated preamp from back in the day is the superior, far superior to either of the Fortin Grind or Fortin 33. I'm just saying that the framework, you know, that was the platform, the modding platform for that pedal, as far as I understand it. We're gonna move along amp wise. And we could go, like, there are just a few amps we can use here. I think this is one of the old ones, right? Is this one of the old ones? This 800? I'm pretty sure this is one of the old. Some of these are carried over products. See, this I don't dig quite as much. I've never really been sure why this was in the metal suite to begin with. It's just not really a metal amp. The old school, this is from the original Softube amp room prior to the big, the big overhaul. This one sounds, again, this is okay. It's a bit boxy, but still, it's still decent. It still works. And the American mainstayer, I don't know if I got along with it a whole bunch or not. We'll go through it. Wow, that is fucking bright as the sun, folks. Bright as the sun. And that is definitely not the pedal for here. Wait, where am I at? Where am I at? Yes, idiot. See, I don't know. There's something about it just I didn't really super get along with, but you guys be the judge. You guys go after it with the mainstayer. Let me know what you guys think. Supposed to be a rectifier. It's okay. The big star of the show is the Wild synth, though, unless you're getting into the Marshall stuff, which is where we're going eventually here. We're going to go into the Marshall suite and kind of chug around and flub around in here a little bit. And I think it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if you guys are, but we'll see. Today, happy Saturday, everybody. I say that because, honestly, we all work so hard during the week, or most of us do. And man, having a day off to just kind of do your thing is always a really nice thing to have. I don't want these EQs here, so we're gonna mostly just ignore those and go back to the amp and just get some nice amp tones. This is the Jubilee. And I do like this amp, and I know Eddie, I think it was Eddie that likes this amp, or is it Thomas on our staff that likes this amp? That darkened up quite a bit, eh? So Canadian. It darkened up a lot there, eh? Why do I got two? Why could I possibly need two of you? Get off me. I'm gonna bring the governor in. Actually, no, I'm not. No governor. I guess it's only one click. Man, this is just such a fascinating stream, isn't it, guys? We're just hanging out today with the fucking amp knob. Not amp knob, sorry, amp room. Amp room. And, okay, I just need one click ski. I'll set this up accordingly. See where we're at. It's a little bit darker than I was kind of hoping for, to be honest. A little bit fucking darker. And the neat thing about this is they actually show you the what could be like the IR matrix. Like every one of these squares between these dots could be an IR, and it likely is its own IR. Just so you understand how these matrices work, when you have a 3D mics will literally give you a matrix of mics. It's like a cube or a grid of mics, and each one of those squares, they load an IR for that particular mic position in real life into that matrix. And that's when you wand yourself over it, playing pin to tail on the donkey. That's what happens. Hopefully you guys are down. Today has been interesting day so far. I mean, we had actually not all that interesting, to be honest. We played some disc golf. Also, hold on. New with Amp Room launch, the GMP 2204 was one of the original. Yeah. GMP 224 was one of the originals. Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. This sounds really dark, though. Why does it sound so dark right now? I don't, I think I've got my Marshall set up the way I would normally set up a Marshall. And it's set pretty bright on the pedal as well. And if you don't want to use the cab versions, you can go to this. If I'm not mistaken, you can go to the studio version. And you can make real intense. You can make these types of chains, right? And the cool thing is it separates your cabinet and head in from each of the Marshall plugins and each of these plugins in general. So you're able to use, if you go through here. The other thing is the Kerry King Marshall. Is it in this one? Yeah, it's in this view, but not the other for some reason. Some of the products disappear. And if you use the studio version, you can use different cab sections from different plugins. So if you want, right here, for example, is the Tony Platt cabinet section from the... Oh, sorry, never mind. This is where I was originally thinking that the other cabinet was. So you have the Tony Platt shot cabinets that have their own little mixing window, which is pretty sick. If I want to get rid of that and make it into just a single cabinet section, this is what I've got going on. Then I can just go like this and throw that cabinet section in there from the other plugin. This is from the Blues Breaker. So I'm now effectively using the Marshall Jubilee along with the Blues Breaker instead. So this is what that would sound like. Make it bigger and be like, okay, what do I want to do with this? We'll go dynamic mics instead. And that's a bit of a different sounding cab section as well. So we'll bring these back. Oh, those aren't even on. Never mind. My bad. Not exactly a chug friendly cabinet, but you get what we're doing. What the upside. The Kerry King cabinets are in here as well, and this is a nice cabinet section. It's very unique in how it's thrown together here. So you have Terry Date setups, Kerry King Live setup, and your custom where you can kind of make things your own. And this is using. These are the Marshall Mode 4s. These are Kerry King Live setups, or are these Terry Date? Sorry. These are the Terry Date setups. Setup number 2. Number 3. So we're going to go with number 1. Igor, come on now, brother. Are you asking that seriously, or are you trying to poke me? Are you trying to poke the bear? I'm just asking, because that could be a legitimate question. If you're asking a serious question, then you don't know me very well, and that's okay. No. The short answer is no. The slightly longer answer would be fuck no. No. In fact, I would be willing to say that not only It never was a good plugin. When you say something is something still good, that would indicate that at one point in that product's lifespan, it was once upon a time regarded as a good plugin, and that plugin has never been good. Nothing Positive Grid has ever made has been anything but snake oil, made to separate you from your hard-earned dollars. In my opinion, that there's a metric ton of freeware that you can get for $0.00 on the market right now that gets you tones that would decimate. Like, the free tones you would get would be like the Ocean, and then bias effects would be like the Titan sub. You know what I mean? That would be the free tones alone that I could find you would just be like, look, there's bias effect, and the people juice comes out. the people stew comes out of it. No. I thought you were being facetious, Igor, because that's sort of a thing around here. Is like, we don't shit on products on this channel. We do not shit on products except Positive Grid, and the reason we do that is because there's a long list of reasons. But when that platform came out, and everyone that knows me is like, oh fuck, they got him going. The rest of the stream is useless now. Now we're going to be talking about this for the rest of the thing. Good job, Igor. You got him going. You got the old guy going. But the whole reason I started doing what I do, the whole reason I started doing reviews and stuff roughly like a decade ago, one of the main reasons was because I was separated from my hard-earned dollars by Positive Grid and some marketing that I believe and I deemed dishonest. And after that, I continued to see dishonest product paid placement on, top 10 lists where, and that happens too. It's unfortunate. You go and like type in best amp sims in the world in Google, and you will find tons of lists from random fucking bloggers and random people that list Positive Grid bias effects and as in their top 5. And it's just, in fact, in quality wise, it is in fact not true. Okay, so that's the end of it. That's the end of it on that. I won't go into too much depth, but what you'll find here, my friend Igor, is a ton of stuff that will not separate you from too many of your hard-earned dollars. And you will find stuff for free, and you're going to find stuff that answer me a question real quick. Is that the main amp sim that you use currently, or is that the one you're most used to? Because if it is, we're going to show you some stuff, brother, that you're going to want to use sitting down. You're going to want to use it sitting down comfortably where you're not going to fall over. And you know what I mean? Because you're going to be quite surprised. In this case, we're using Softube Amp Room, and this is one of those products that would surely blow your mind. But if I'm going to be honest, for your dollar, and if you want something similar to like the setup of Positive Grid bias effects, you would want to go with something like STL Tones Amp Hub. That might be a little bit more compact and a little bit easier to use than Softube Amp Room. Plus, there's a lot of stuff with this in Softube Amp Room where you kind of have to, purchase expansions and stuff like that. Whereas with, I would just try Amp Hub first. It's very easy to use. It's even easier than bias effects to use, and there's lots of gear, and it'll all give you, like, even Amplitude, even in IK Multimedia's Amplitude is going to outperform bias effects, and by a considerable margin. So if you happen to have Amplitude, or if you're looking for freebies, brother, go into our live streams and find the Freeware Fridays, and just watch some of our older Freeware Fridays. We will show you ways to get the tones you're after for $0.00. That's the other thing. There's so much freeware, high quality freeware on the market right now that, if you're on a super, super tight budget, you don't even have to buy it anymore. So the main amp sim I use is Lecto and Audio Assault 1's 5150 and Sigma. Okay, So are you familiar with Amp Locker? Because the Amp Locker from Audio Assault also would be another great option over, definitely way better than Bias Effects 2, even Bias Effects 2, way better. And I firmly say that if you're familiar with Audio Assault products, definitely grab yourself a couple of months of their Amp Locker subscription. It's more than worth it, and you will enjoy it. I guarantee it. Easy to use. The amps are easy to dial in. They've got a mix of stuff that's really like the easy, ready-made kind of mix ready stuff, and then realistic amps. That's another great option if you know Audio Assault stuff. It's not super expensive, as you know, like as you're more than well aware. If you're still using Lecto, I would say that if you're a huge rectifier fan, there are a few rectifiers out there that you can get right now on sale even. But the one inside Amp Hub, if you wanted to go with STL Amp Hub, there's also one inside Amp Locker from from Audio Assault. And I think those would be better than the ones located here. The one in here, the main stair, it's not my favorite. It's not terrible by any means, but it's not my favorite. The updated Putney sounds so good, dude. Woo! Oh, I was so pumped on that yesterday, guys. All right, let's keep going here. So yeah, we're just hanging out today with Amp Hub. Oh my God, there's too many amp names. Amp Room. Okay, so what I'm trying to find here is, where's the fucking Kerry King Marshall? I gotta find it. It shouldn't be far away. There it is. And then it's separate, it gives you the module like that, so I really could just use the plugin, the amp itself, if I was to drag it in over there. For some reason, it's not available in the other view, but in this one, it is. I don't know what the story is on that. Also, the Kerry King Marshall has been discontinued by Softube, guys. It's still for sale on Plugin Boutique. I would strongly and highly advise that you go buy it. Not just because Kerry King, but because I think it does more than metal really well. That's a bit different. Why is there so much gain in that amp all of a sudden? That wasn't a thing before. That definitely was not a thing before, folks. That has more gain involved here somehow, some way, and I don't even have the boost on. Weird. That just did not have that much snot in it the last time I used it. If you're wondering what the Kerry King Marshall is it just a fucking tribal logo, tribal paint on an 800? Sort of, kind of, maybe not. It's an 800 that has a KT88 tube section. And if you don't know your tube types and the differences between them and the sound differences, you should just definitely look into that, because it is quite important, and depending on this type of sound that you're looking for. A KT8, for example, KT88 is much different than your standard EL34, which is what comes in your standard 800s and your 2203s and most Marshall amps, in fact. I'm not really sure of any Marshall amp that doesn't have, except for this one. Bo's definitely going to correct me on that one, but I really don't know of many Marshall amps that ever existed that did not have the Brit EL34 tube in it. But except for this Kerry King, the KFK Kerry fucking King. Oh man, as if this came on. Oh, do we have to yeet? Kyle, is it just me or am I going to be by myself? I had to. I'm going to yeet by myself then. Fine. But yeah, it's discontinued now, but is still for sale at Plugin Boutique for a really good price. I would buy it if you have the scratch because it's pretty cool and it's unique. I don't remember having this much fucking balls though. I love different tube types, to be honest. I think they all have their place. I have my love for all different types of tubes. And there are more types as well. There's not just those. I can't remember them off the top of my head. What are the tubes they use in the Vox, Bo? Those are great as well. Really chimey sounding tubes. There are a bunch of different tubes out there, and they all have their own unique feel. I think that, you know, the EL34s are really nice for lead work. I swear by EL34s for anything that involves lead guitar, solos, anything. Also rock. Anything like rock oriented. I really like my Marshall, my hot rodded heavy Marshall sounds. Those are great. But then when it comes to metal, it's not that I don't like EL34s, but I start to lean a little bit more towards 6L6s and KT88s. Unless you're using an amp like, you know, the Fortin Meshuggah, it's not that it's impossible for EL34s to sound tight. That's not what I'm saying. But when you want tightness, generally you were looking at an EL34 or, you know, something of that effect. Sorry, a 6L6. Hold on. What the fuck? The 2.0 Howard Benson came out as well? Well, fuck, now I'm doing a stream tomorrow. I wasn't going to do a stream tomorrow, and I guess that now I am. JJ Tubes from Vox. No, I mean the tube type. Are they, what is it? The 5, I can't remember. What's the tube type that goes in that? Not the tube make, but the tube type. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta go back here. You guys are moving quick. That's rad. It sounds sick. Yeah, Chacho, we did a stream yesterday. I don't know if you watched it or not. We did it yesterday, the Putney 2.0, and it does sound sick. And we did get some sick tones. We also used a couple of secret plugins. And guys, I'm giving you today a major hint. Okay? At some point in this stream, I'm giving you a major, gigantic hint of the first plugin we used yesterday in this secret plugin. Okay? I can't tell you what the hint is. You're just going to have to, you know, look and listen. And, you know, just look and listen, and you'll figure it out eventually. And if you don't figure it out, that's okay. Day before release, we will be having a stream. But yesterday, we also loaded up 2.0 Putney and went, whoa! Oh! Oh, whoa! How's it going, everyone? Understandable, Bo. I understand. I just saw the KK is no longer sold on Softube and really sucks for me. Why? Go to Plugin Boutique. Is it still there? Can somebody verify whether it's at Plugin Boutique or not? And that makes me wonder also if the Murder 1 is in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it is, though. But here's the thing. Plugins disappear for usually one main reason. If there's a reason that Kerry King's plugin disappeared, we can theorize a little bit. Now, I want to note out front that this is complete speculation, and we are just brainstorming of why that could have happened. There's probably an agreement. Most agreements are perpetual. They just continue. However, that being said, now here's the things that I could say might be different. It could another amp company. Could Kerry King be ready to move amp companies? Could he be ready to jump from Marshall to a different company at this stage in his career for a signature amp? Could that be happening so that Marshall had to no longer had their license, and then therefore Softube would no longer have the license to put out that plugin because he'd be moving on to another company? And then potentially also the other reason is that he could have a plugin coming out from another company, and there may be a certain amount of years on the lease. That's like a lease, we'll say, for it could be like, let's do it for 5 years, however long this has been out. Let's do it for 5 years, and then let's see what happens. And at that time, he's free to either renew or move along to a different plugin developer or a different amp builder. Who knows? That to me is a bit strange. I've also seen it happen with JST in 2 different cases. The Misha plugin disappeared, but you dig around enough, you'll hear some things there. There's a lot of speculation as to why that happened, but nobody has actually come out and said that this is what went on. That being said, so that's gone. And also the Rex Brown plugin with JST also gone. That leads me to believe that there could be something in the works for Rex Brown in the future for another plugin. So it's interesting now that that's happening, because it used to be that when you saw a plugin, come out with a signature developer or a licensed company, they would just stay there forever, and you'd be able to buy it forever. But Plugin Boutique has this plugin. Go get it. I would say it's super fun addition to your collection. And it doesn't always look like this though. It looks, in the second half, we can pull out some of the Softube Marshalls potentially, but we're probably just going to stick with Amp Hub. But yeah, that's the story with that. Let's go to the Kerry King live setups here for Funskis. I feel like this version of this amp sim has so much more gain, and I don't understand it, than the standalone. You use the standalone, I'm not even using the Assault right now or the Gate or anything. I'm not using the Beast at all. I'm just using this straight up, and I'm just boosting it with the Tube Screamer. And it never used to sound like this. It's very different for me. This is one of the only pickups I feel can get the Slayer sound, other than an EMG 81, is the Bill Lawrence USA L500XL. It's way brighter than it doesn't necessarily sound like the 81, but I feel like if you tweak enough, you can get that same. It's seriously just the best pickup for classic thrash or any kind of thrash. It's just a great pickup for just about anything. And I really feel like I need to, when I sell my giant mountain of pickups, I need to sell this mountain of pickups. Premium pickups, I got to sell them though. I got to get rid of them because I really want to put L500XLs in maybe one other guitar. I've had that feeling that maybe it's time to get another one. I just got it on Plugin Boutique. Yeah, BJ Russell just got it. BJ, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you. I should do a full stream on the Putney. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to come back today with that blasted Howard Benz. We were just talking yesterday. Obviously, it's gonna happen to the Andy James. Is the Andy James out as well then? Because if the Andy James is out as well, then we might as well just do a big stream with all 3 of them. It sounds really fucking good, guys. Yeah, I got no problems with this at all. Where I really, really liked the Kerry King plugin was for solos, though. I was one thing I really, really enjoyed for is guitar solos, straight up. Solos, lead work. It's just, it doesn't have to be used for just metal all the time either. It's definitely not just a metal amp. It's a good sounding, great sounding amp. Oh boy. Let's change that up. All right, let's see what the Assault sounds like. Let's turn on, or is the Assault already on? Oh, it was. Or was it? Okay, so the Assault was on. I see. I didn't notice it because there's nothing that denotes it being on. There's no lights or anything. It's just on and it's off. So I had turned it off. Let's turn it off and use a Tube Screamer now. So even if you're playing like hard rock and stuff, or power metal, or really anything that's like in that mid, you need that mid amount of distortion, and you don't need anything super crushing, this is also going to do it. Whereas it can, as we're hearing, it can do crushing stuff as well. Okay, so now I'm going to try it with this, now that it's not too bright. Little bit too bright. We'll wheel that back just a pinch. And we're using the Kerry King live cab setup, which is like this. It's just easy going. You don't have to do anything. They just like, this is how Kerry does it live. And we give it to you just like he uses it live. Same mic, same position, same everything. That's pretty cool. That to me is pretty cool. Using Marshall Mode 4, it gives you the mics that are being used. It gives you everything, which I really enjoy. Wow, that sounds really good. So yeah, this is one of my favorite Marshall plugins by far. Get it while it's hot. Get it while before it's gone. In fact, I might as well just do a stream all just on this Kerry King Marshall, telling people to get it before it's gone. No longer available, discontinued by Softube, Bumsky, and it will not be perpetually available because what happens is companies like Plugin Boutique, they buy a certain amount of licenses. And those licenses are theirs to sell as long as they have them. And then once those licenses are gone, there are no more available that they can purchase from the developer. And then we are done. So when they run out, you run out. Okay, so that's just the way it is. Plugin Boutique has it cheap, and I would suggest grabbing it because again, it's super fun. It also plays well with lots of different pedals. In its standalone form, it's kind of, you know, it's tough for me to show. No, it's not really tough for me to show it with pedals because that's one thing that Amp Room does have is lots and lots of pedals. Let's use it here. And again, here you can use a number of different pedals. Let's turn that off. We're just going to use our old school. Heard the new Green Day song. I like it. It's different. Does anybody know what it's called? It had some rad riffs. It just sounds like The Passenger, though, from like Iggy Pop's The Passenger. It just sounds, or is it The Stooges? Stooges or Iggy Pop did The Passenger? I don't know. It's Stooges? Passenger? I don't remember. Either way, it sounds kind of like a beefed up version of The Passenger, but it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Also, if you're Canadian, you'll know of a band called Big Wreck. And I was shocked today because I don't like Big Wreck, but I know Ian Thornley to be a very, very, very gifted guitar player. Anybody with their own signature sewer gear can play guitar a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? It's not a company that just like endorses anyone. If you're endorsed by that company, and especially if you have signature gear from Sewer, you know how to play. You know your way around the old Git box a little bit. And this guy played a solo. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up here. And it's a song called Believer, I think. And man, this song has a fucking shred. Here it is. It's the single. Now, this band, if you've never heard this band before, this is traditionally what they're known for is... I hate this song so much, but let's just give it a second. This is the kind of stuff they're known for. Okay? Do you have a Chapman guitar now? You might have heard this song before. Because even though Ian Thornley is an American, they're mostly a Canadian band, and therefore they have access to the CanCon rules, and they get a shit ton of radio play and a shit ton of support here in Canada. In the States, they're mostly an opening band. I don't know if they headline anything of their own or not. I'm not sure how big they are in the States. But this is the kind of stuff that... I haven't really listened to much Green Day either. I'm just reading the comments. It's gone. Oh, no. Oh, man, that sucks. Anyways, let's listen to this solo, and then I'm going to get to the rest of the comments I'm seeing here. So I've got some good chats going on. Okay, so this is normally what this band is known for. You know, like big guitar sounds, but not shreds. Okay? Definitely not shreds. Here's another song by them. You might have heard this song as well. It's in a few movies. So it's like bluesy rock, you know? It's bluesy rock, hard rock at most. So I want to point that out because this makes this single even more shocking. Can someone look up who's doing Ian Thornley's guitars now? Because I see that guitar that he's using in this picture here, and it's making me very curious. That's a Sewer, never mind. Which means I can't afford it, but holy hot shit, look at this guitar. Can we fucking look at this again? The Ian Thorne, that must be his new signature guitar, but like anytime you get a Telecaster with a reverse headstock, you're gonna get my attention. And in this case, thank you for showing me that. Like now I'm gonna want a guitar that another guitar I can't afford. So now listen to the start of this song. It took me for a loop. I don't even know why I hit play. I think I hit play because I thought it was gonna be a Big Wreck cover of that Believer song by, is it Imagine Dragons? It's not. So check this out. Okay, so then it gets radio rocky. As soon as I heard that riff, I didn't even listen to the rest of the song. I just knew that Ian Thornley was going to finally flex those muscles for us to hear. So let's listen to that solo. I just knew it was going to happen. Here you go. See, cheesy radio rock in here, this part. But then... My God, man. Leave some guitar for the rest of us, dude. Holy smokes. That solo's rad. Cheers to Big Rec for really delivering a song that, like, I knew it. He was always one of those guitar players that, if you're a guitar player, and I've seen Big Rec a couple of times, and you can just see by the way Ian Thornley plays the guitar and little jams they go on once in a while that dude can fucking shred. He just never really does. And then all of a sudden he does. And you're like, what the fuck am I listening to right now? So good on him. Cheers. I hope somebody gives him a signature suite. That would be fun to work on. That dude knows tone. I stopped listening to Green Day after Warning. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I'm not a huge fan either. I used to be a huge fan, but man, those guys can make huge guitar sound, man. Oh my God. Billy Joe's guitar sound sounds like a goddamn wall of rock. That dude, if one thing that dude knows is tone, and his guitar tone is impeccable. He's using a Les Paul Jr. with a P90 at some point, though. Like, dude, come on, stop. Just stop. Use a humbucker. Just use a humbucker, Billy. Come on, Billy. Use the humbucker, Billy. Got to use the humbuckers. He needs humbuckers with Marshalls, in my opinion. Damn, it was tasty, right? He also has a Jazzmaster and a Strat style signature with Sewer. Of course he does. Sounds killer. Be careful, Eddie. Why is Eddie being careful? What did I miss? $3,700 US. That means I can't afford it. There's no universe I can afford that guitar. That's not happening. Not up in here. The solo is all well and good. That drum mix is right up my alley. Yeah, it's a fuck. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I sent it right to my friend because it was almost a month ago, not even a month ago, we were having this conversation, and he messaged me one day, and he just messages me random shit. He's like, you know who I bet is a deadly guitar player is Ian Thornley. And I was like, fuck yeah, he is. I know he is. Like, we just never see it because it's like Brad Paisley. Brad Paisley could shred the living hell out of everything, but the guy just doesn't do it anymore. He hasn't made a guitar album in a long time. And that's one thing I think that Ian Thornley should do, is not make a guitar album, but what I think Ian Thornley should do is guest solo with a bunch of random metal bands. Just so a lot of people are like, I'm sorry, who's doing this solo on this? And then, like, just do guest spots. Just be like, do guest spots with, like, insane bands. Insane bands. Like, pick crazy bands that would never, ever, ever play on a tour with Big Rec and have him do, like, solos on some stuff. That would be sick. That would be super sick. Another guy I think that shreds, and he's doing a little more of it these days, is Mark Tremonti. Another guy I feel, Jesus Christ, somebody give Mark Tremonti a suite already. Give somebody, please. Can we see archetype Mark Tremonti, please? Admit it. Whether you like Creed or not, I don't care. But that's another guy whose tone is just fan-fucking-tastic. Fantastic tone out of Mark Tremonti. All right, what are we doing here? I'm excited about 2.0 Howard Benson. Is it also, I didn't see it mentioned. Yep, that's a big no for me. Yeah, I mean, because we're not lawyers, dude. I'm convinced that 90% of people that buy Sewer guitars are lawyers or dentists. Their pickups don't fuck around, though. The Doug Aldrich pickups, guys, sound fucking awesome. That Doug Aldrich set is one of the greatest sets of pickups I ever used. Between the Buried and Me, that's a band I haven't thought about in a while. Dan Briggs, I think it is now. I don't like Creed, but fuck, man, you're tempting me right now. I'm sorry, but it was mentioned, so we're gonna have to do it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry we're gonna have to do this together, but we're gonna we're doing it. I don't care. We're doing it. Try to keep a straight face, guys. It's not possible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just has to be done once in a blue moon. And that was exactly the moment for it. I'm sorry. It had to happen. We had to do it. Every time I hear that somebody say their name is Joseph at this point, it's just Joseph. Oh, and literally, I think that is one of like, even the misses, every time that I can, like, we could listen to that at any time. Doesn't matter how bad a mood we're in. If someone puts on Creed Shreds 1,000 Yes Yes, yeah, I'm gonna laugh. I don't care what's going on. Even if it's an inappropriate moment to laugh, I'm forced to do it. Tremonti is one of those guys where basically everyone for the 2 decades, Creed fucking sucked, Mark Tremonti is cool though. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that say exactly that. Or like, Nickelback fucking sucks, but yeah, man, their records sound pretty good. Like when they did Nail the Mix, Nickelback, and it was a joke for such a long time. We're like, hey, what do you want to see in the next Nail the Mix? And it was like, oh, Nail the Mix, Nickelback. I'm so edgy making prog mixes in my mommy's basement. I'm edgy as fuck. But everyone says, you know, Nickelback sucks, or Nail the Mix, Nickelback. And then they fucking did one. And then people learned how they make their guitars sound so fucking huge and how they make their drums sound so fucking huge. It's massive sounding mixes for Nickelback. Whether you like Nickelback or not, you're like, yeah, Nickelback sucks, but man, those records sound awesome. They just sound so good, you know? Mark Studios, nice to see you. Nice to see everyone today. And we're just hanging out with Amp Hub. God damn it, I did it again! Fuck, Amp Noob. Ooh. Can we do that? Can somebody please make a beginner series called Amp Noob? I guess that would almost be Amp Knob, right? Could we call Amp Knob Amp Noob? Because it's so easy to use? Fucking Amp Noob. Nah, it doesn't sound as good. Fucking knob. I need knob. No, that was going to go too far. All right, let's go back to... Does it allow me to go back? Is it going to let me go back or not go back? Just switch. It needs to look like this. What? Well, is it not going to let me go back? To switch to sweep mode, your signal chain needs to look like this. It kind of does look like that, bro. Weird. Very interesting. It won't let me switch back now. Well, I don't understand. Either way, I'll just keep going with this. I don't care. I'm rather impressed with the tones that we're achieving today, and I'm having some fun with it. And we're just going to continue to have fun with it. Oh, that's interesting. Looks interesting like that. Let's see what we got here. I just have to look at this and how it's laid out for me. There's also another plugin that's available through Softube called the Celestian Speaker Shaper. And if you're one of those people that loves speakers like Eddie, and a number of other people out there that love their speakers, and if you love your speakers and love your mics and you love getting really in depth with your speakers, this is the way to go all day, every day of the week. And it looks a little like this, although I'm not going to get too into it. They give you this small simplified version here, but then you can beef it up. And then the standalone version that you can use in your DAW looks, again, even more different. But this is pretty cool. You can get, like I said, you get right into speaker age, speaker distortion. You can change the ohmage. You can change the fucking material in your speakers from ferrite to alnico to neodymium. It's pretty damn cool. Also open and close back for all the different options. And if you go here, I have just a small selection of options here, which is, but it gives you a couple of different bass options. The Pulse, BL, and BN, I think are all bass options. I think. I know the Pulse 12, or is the Pulse 12 a bass option or not? I know that they have the Celestian Pulse bass, but I don't know if they have the guitar or not. I haven't really looked. Either way, they give you greenback, creamback, heritage, lead 80s, vintage 30s, and so on and so forth. I'm going to stick with vintage 30. They give you a different size speaker. Sorry, different size. You've got 212. I've got 4 speakers, 8 speakers if I want. Single speaker. I'm going to go with 4 speakers. It's pretty sweet. So let's see what we have here. Now, neodymium, I just started realizing that this was even being used for speakers. Like, I'm not a speaker nerd, guys. That's Eddie's job on our team here. And Bo's also pretty good with that stuff. But I'm not a speaker nerd. But those guys do their fucking homework. And it's sad. These guys, they know their stuff. And recently, Chris at Wavemind bought a cabinet that's got some neodymium stuff in it, and apparently it sounds kind of neat. So, I don't know what you mean by a la carte option. Okay, let's go to the presets for a sec here. Modern angle. And it's going to switch us back to, yeah, okay. So this is what the other view looks like, as mentioned. And then if I want to go to the various rooms, I go to the various rooms via the Marshall's here. But the problem with the Marshall is, if you want to use the Kerry King, it's not in here. Not as far as I know. No, it's not in here. Oh, no, it is. Perfect. Perfection. Now, is it also going to give me the cabs? I mean, is it linking that for me? Is this a mode? This is not a mode 4. Either way, I want to see if this version is giving me just as much of the gain. That sounds pretty good too, so you guys can see what it looks like there. I actually didn't think it was still available in that view, but it is. Though it is. So this is extinct now? Oh, that's sad. Are we going to have a moment? Amazing. No, I'm not going to sing Amazing Grace for the amp, but still, you get it. It sucks that it's now goners. I hope this has... this is definitely has to be an update because this amp just did not... At any time that I've used it, did not have this much fucking balls. And now they've given it lots of balls. Where are you going to put it? There we go. All right, let's use this for a couple of minutes here. We're not going to be here too much longer, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for such a long time today. I'm not even sure what time I jumped on. Oh, what? What? This sounds really good. Whoop. I really like I really like this plugin, guys. Yeah. Man, strong fucking tones here. Wow, now. I hear some bouncing ball lyrics. That's what makes thrash so fun, though. You can just pull out that bouncing ball, like the bouncing ball pattern, and you can just yell and be good at thrash as long as you're a good front man. And then you can just turn off the assault and I don't feel like messing with their delay, but I'll show you. I'll just fire up mine and give you guys a couple of lead tones. It cuts so nice, and the sustain is really, really nice out of this amp. So I would say this is kind of one of my secret weapons for lead guitar. I know I said I like to stick with the L34s, but in this case it's KT88s in this amp, but I know that this is still giving me that Marshall bite to things, and I think this has become one of my favorite plugins for lead. This, the Nembrini Audio MP1 Pro, and the the JMP Pro. These three plugins are like kind of all the leads that I record, and all the solos, lead parts, anything like that I record is almost always done with one of those plugins. Just because those are the plugins that resonate to me. You tell me in the comments which plugins to you guys do the heavy lifting for lead work. I'm curious. And I'm really curious and wanting to bust out another stream like today. I didn't see it. Did someone tell me already like 3 times or 4 times whether the Andy James plugin got the 2.0 treatment? Because if it did, I'm going to need to do a stream like ASAP. That's a crushing tone on this album as well. No. Wait, was that what I thought? Yeah, let's stick with Psychroptic. Psychroptic, that's a band that, man, that dude has used so many different rigs, and no matter which rig he uses, it always sounds like him. Like the tone sounds similar, except for like their older albums, he used the Triaxis and used it real scoop-skied. Like real scooped, right scooped. Andy James has not been updated. Okay, that one's got to be down the pipe then. Is that tomorrow then? Like, so yesterday was Putney, today did they release Benson today or yesterday? I'm assuming that Andy James has to be in the next couple of days. That's pretty fucking awesome. Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate it. No, we're not sweeping yet, guys, but... No, I'm not going to try to nail a riff here. Little out of tune from those Bendy McBendersons, but Man, sounding good today, and so Amp Room is one of those one of those fun platforms. And recently they've made it, in my opinion, they've made it better because the performance is just better. I tried to fire it up today without doing the update, and it gave me the usual bananas. And I even said to the guys in this morning, I said I really want to do an amp room stream, but it's always so sluggish. And when you're trying to use it at the lowest latency possible, and it's not sluggish at all. It was sluggish this morning when I opened it up before the stream. Not this morning, but like earlier this afternoon, and realized that like they had released updates for everything from Softube. So I did all of my updates and fired it up, and I noticed right away that the performance had improved quite some. The opening time, the loading up, whatever, has considerably been cut way back. Oh, really? Benson was a while ago? For realsies? Between the Cali Sweet Carry King and the Solidus, my Marshall bases are basically covered. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. However, buddy, Kyle, if you're a Marshall fan, and if you're a Marshall fan out there, I can tell you that this year you are going to get a plugin that is going to impress the living shit out of you. All I can tell you about it is that there is a lot of Marshall under one roof. Not a licensed, it won't be a licensed Marshall, but a certain developer that I'm working on the project along with Bo, and Eddie, I believe, is also in on the project now as well. And we're working on it with a developer. And man, like some of this stuff it's going to get done to this. Pretty fucking awesome. Pretty fucking cool, guys. Oh my gosh, can we get over it? That's tuned pretty low. That's like right at near the end. Ozzy was in C, I think, right? Right near the end of the line here. He was like in his final days of regular touring. I think they might have been in C or C sharp. But I think that they've been in D I think they've been in D standard a lot for a lot of the Zakk Wylde years anyways. The YJM model? Benson, I think was, what do you mean? The YJM model? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. No, it's Bo, you want to make a note of that? We can make a note. See what we can do. Man, I cannot wait to showcase this for you. There is a version of it I could potentially showcase kind of sometime soon, but in the background, it would definitely be another secret to plug in. But again, it's not something that'll happen anytime really soon because there is a release that's bumped out in front of this one. And then I believe that this is going to be something that the developer will be getting to. So, excuse me. Excuse me. There's really good sounding fucking Marshalls, guys. That's one when I see people that are fans of other developers. There's one developer in particular where the fanboys are always asking for licensed Marshalls. Like, you're not going to get it. The license belongs to Softube. They're the only company that can make them the licensed Marshalls right now, as far as I understand. Now, the other thing is, it's like if you're a neural DSP or a fanboy, for example, and you really want licensed Marshalls, I ask you, what's wrong with buying the Softube? Why? What's the difference? I mean, you're talking about upscale developer is an upscale developer. Neural DSP is not the is all and ends all of amp sims. You know, there to a lot of people they are, but and I'm not taking anything away from Neural DSP by any means or any shadow of like there's just nothing I'm trying to take away from that company. But if you're out there and you're a fan of one developer and you're sitting around like you're pining for that developer to do your favorite amp when several other developers have already done that amp, my suggestion is take a swim. You know what I mean? Take a swim or go fishing and see what you find. You know, like it doesn't take you much to try the unrestricted free trials for a lot of these companies provide. So I would say even if you're really loyal to one developer, that's understandable. I completely I do get it when people have that loyalty to a certain developer, maybe the one that helped them get into amp sims, or one they trust the most. All understandable, but don't do it to the point where it's going to limit your tones. Like the example, if you're waiting for another developer to do the Kerry King Marshall, it's probably not going to happen for you. If you're waiting for another one to do the Murder One in full on licensed mode like this one here, which by the way is also awesome for guitar, not just a bass amp. This thing rips for guitar. It's a bit loud. So the Murder One is essentially a guitar amp it's a JMP. It was, the original was just a guitar amp that had some things done to it. Bo would be able to tell you the things that were done to it, to what degree. And then of course, later there was another Murder One made that had bass upgrades of some sort. I don't know a lot about the innards, but this is available here. It sounds cool for bass, really cool for bass. And I really like using it for parallel distortion. I like to use it as my distorted channel and my parallel distortion. If I'm doing something more rockish, I'll use like an Ampeg on the low end, heavily compressed, and then I'll use a different channel with the duplicated bass. Of course, if you don't know how to do parallel distortion, I'm not here to tell you how to do it, but if you know how to do it, or if you learn how to do it, using Murder One here for your distorted side your non-compressed distorted side is truthfully awesome for like hard rock, any type of rock music, thrash. Getting up to metal, I prefer to using something a little bit more aggressive, like the Grindstein. When it comes to the distorted side, the Audiority Grindstein is amazing for that. But the Murder One here is really, really cool at that. Also superb for Doom on guitar at any point. That's the thing. Mark Studios, there aren't a lot of... Softube just doesn't do a lot of that. They just don't. But yes, this bass amp, I'm not going to play guitar through it, obviously, but this bass amp is so fucking good. It is one of those things. It's like the Vildsynth in the sense that it is a beast. It reminds me a lot of like the various Dark Glass units, kind of all rolled into one ball. And it also gives you some more like... some more vintage, gainier type tones. This thing is very cool. Very, very fucking cool. So yes, please do give it a shot if you're interested. I really wish Softube would do more like groundswell marketing or groundswell creating, giving it to not just creators that you're paying for the demos. I also, maybe doing some NFRs with some smaller artists would probably increase that a little bit. But man, this thing is cool, especially how you can blend the clean and distorted in this nice little wheel here. It's really cool. The drive boost is awesome. The character switch is super cool. I would totally advise giving this a run at some point. I found this one, unlike Vildsynth, was really handy in a mix. All by itself. It didn't need to parallel distort anything, which is really cool. So do check this out at your earliest convenience. Yeah, no, I played guitar. I was playing guitar through that one. And you guys have seen me use this for Doom streams in the past. I think the next Doom stream will probably choose Murder 1 as like our base level tone and see what we can do with it. That would be fun. But guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for being here. No breaks, 2 hours. It was great. I had tons of fun with this plugin. I highly advise and recommend that you try out Amp Room. And if not Amp Room, I will say though, if you don't try Amp Room, do try the Softube Marshalls in their own standalone form. Grab those. Also grab the Marshall Cabinet series that you can load up in here. And don't forget that this studio button exists. The studio button allows you to create maybe even more complex signal chains. And there's 2 ways to use it. I've enjoyed both methods. This thing is awesome. This thing is super fun, the Murder one. The Cardinal is another one I have not gotten really. I haven't really gotten into it yet. I know it's also useful for guitar and bass. So I'd love to get into it at some point. I haven't played enough bass with this. We haven't done a bass stream in 2 months though, so that's probably coming at you guys sometime soon. You guys always get so bored with that, but yeah, it is what it is. If I'm going to be here tomorrow, I do have lots of stuff to do tomorrow. So maybe not. Maybe we'll save Benson for next weekend. And by then, maybe the Andy James will also be out so we can do all 3 of them. So don't count on tomorrow. If I'm here, I'm here. But today was definitely a lot of fun. At this point, I'm going to go. And the missus and I are probably going to, I don't know, maybe we'll play some Oblivion tonight. Hang out with these fuzzballs on the table behind me. It's the 3 sleeping cats on the table behind me. It's like this little focaccia loaf right here cooking in the oven. Oh, Sam. Sam, the cutest cat on the planet. Sorry, other boys here. Guys, it's been a slice. It's been a slice. Is anybody going to say the name? What up? Either way, guys, it's been a slice. Do try out. My challenge for you this week is go to Softube and get their freebies. They've got a bunch of freebies there, and get on their mailing list as well because they tend to give away freebies at random. And they also have some pretty aggressive sales throughout the year. They never used to, but now they're just, kind of with the curve of every other developer also now having, occasional to semi-occasional sales. And don't forget, Softube is not just an amp sim company like some of the other companies out there. These guys do a lot of stuff. These guys are a huge company and they have lots of fun reach. They do some wonderful synth plugins, some old school synth plugins, lots of the old like Moog stuff and everything else. So check out everything they have to offer because man, they've got some awesome production tools that can really make a difference in your mixes and make your tones better across the board. Thank you so much. And I will definitely see you guys next Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. I will be here. I might even be here a little earlier because I am actually off next Friday if I'm thinking out loud. So that'd be sweet. See you guys then. Cheers.
And he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe